So today I have the most amazing video for you guys that you're probably ever gonna see, and it's definitely my favorite video that I've ever posted. So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be making something called an edible water bottle. You might be saying, well, what is that? Well, I'm gonna show you, and it is awesome. So I'm gonna let you know what you need to get if you want to make your own. It's super cheap. I got all the ingredients that I needed. There's only 2 ingredients, but I got them on Amazon as part of a set that you could get because apparently bakers and people that work like in the pastry field and in food have been doing something called spherication for years. And if you ever see cakes or any kind of this food display where there's little tiny little, it almost looks like sushi eggs or caviar, and you can eat them, but they're not caviar. They're actually part of like maybe a cake or a decoration. This is how they do that, but this is on a bigger scale, so you can actually make a homemade water bottle. And inside of this little sphere is drinkable water. I actually have some set aside that I'll show you later. You could dye them, you could do all kinds of cool stuff. But first, I'm just going to show you the stuff that you're going to need to get this project going. And I promise you, this is freaking amazing. If you have kids, they're going to love it. You just want to like amaze your friends when they come over. And it's cheap. Like I said, the ingredients that I got, I think I paid like maybe $12 for them, but you can make hundreds of them, maybe even thousands of them, with the set that I got. So what you're going to need is as follows. You're going to need 3 containers. One for one of the solutions, one for another one of the solutions, and then one with just water in it. So I'm going to show you some of the things that you're going to need. The first thing you're going to need is something called calcium lactate. The second thing that you're going to need is something called sodium alginate. So basically what you're going to do is, oh, and you have to use grams for this, but I also realized that if you have these little spoons, these little spoons that you can measure out stuff for baking with, 1 ml is equal to 1 gram. So if you have any of them that have mLs on them, which will make it a lot easier than trying to find something that measures in grams, 1 ml is 1 gram. So basically what you're going to do is take the sodium alginate, which is this stuff right here. You're going to take 1 gram of this and mix it with 1 cup of your drinking water. So that is the water that will be inside of this water bottle. And it's edible and drinkable because this is all food grade material that you're getting here. So you can eat it, you can drink it. It's friggin' awesome. I'm going to show you some that I made earlier that I dyed with food dye. And they look so cool. I'm telling you, this is amazing. So basically you take this. Now this stuff, I'm not going to lie, is hard to blend. So I took one of these things, because I don't have a hand mixer, but I took one of these, you know, it comes with like a little blade or whatever, like a food processor or whatever you would call it. I took my little gram of the sodium alginate. I put it in here, you blend it up, blip, 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 blip. And then after you blend it up, it's going to have a ton of little air bubbles in it. So what you're going to have to do is set it aside for like 10 minutes so that all the air bubbles come out of it and it's clear, like this. You can still see some bubbles on the top of it, but that's fine. And then that just set aside until you see it's mostly clear, like that. Then what you're going to do is take this calcium lactate, and you're going to take, I think it's 5. Let me just make sure. I wrote it all down for you, because this was trial and error. I actually used a couple of different methods for it, and this method I'm showing you here is the one that I found worked the best. So you're going to take 5 grams, or 5 ml, if you have these little measuring cup things of this, and you're going to mix this with 4 cups of water. This stuff, you could just mix it with a spoon or a fork or whatever. And that is going to come out like this. I put it aside because you want it to be still when you're doing this, because if it is like whirling around, it breaks up the little, they start out as like blobs. It'll break them up and you won't get a round ball and it'll look horrible. But I'll show you some of my monstrous creations that I made before they actually worked out. So this, you're just gonna set this aside while you're waiting for that, for the 1 cup that you mix solution. You're gonna wait for that to clear. So, oh, another cool trick is this stuff, the 1 cup that you mixed with the sodium alginate. You can dye this with food dye, and then your little blob filled with the water will actually be colored. I haven't tried it with, somebody said that you could drop a few of those drops of, I think it's, you squeeze it into your plain water and it makes like a drink out of it. They come in like these little plastic drink things. I haven't tried that yet to see if you could flavor the water, but you certainly can dye it and it doesn't affect it. So the third thing that you're going to need is just any container with regular, you could put tap water in it or whatever. And that will stop, after you mix these two together, it'll stop the process and you'll have your finished product. So that I'm just going to put over here for right now. And then I'm going to switch you over here so I can make a couple of them for you and show you how to actually do it. This is just, it's the coolest thing. Wait until you see what it looks like. But I also have some that are done that I'll show you at the end that are colored and etc. etc. So let me just move you over here. So you're going to have your sodium alginate solution that you're going to allow to settle so that there's not a lot of bubbles in it. You're going to have your calcium lactate solution that this is going to be dropped into slowly. You're going to need I'm using this little ladle, but you could use like a spoon or whatever to scoop this stuff up to put it into here. And you can also use a slotted spoon for this and it'll drain it a little bit, but I found that when I did that, it actually broke them up before they had a chance to set. So that is however you want to do it, that's how you're going to do it. All right, so let's get started. So this solution, your sodium alginate solution, you're going to scoop some of it up. And I want to just get close in on here because it's really kind of hard to see because it's clear, but when I dye the next one, you'll see it a lot better. And you're just going to take it and kind of plop it into here, just like that. Okay. Now I let it sit for a couple of seconds because you're supposed to stir it up so that it sort of sets and gets it to that ball shape. But I found that if you do that too quick, you will break it up and it will not work. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to slowly sort of stir this solution up a little bit. And you just basically, once it's in there, you want to slowly just kind of stir it around a little bit just to make sure that it is constantly moving. Because you don't want it to get stuck to the bottom of your bowl and then when you go to take it out, it will break. So I just want to see if I tip you up over here, if you can actually see that little blob swimming around in there. It's right here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it is in there. So I'm just going to sort of swish this around, and you're going to swish this around for about 3 minutes until you're sure that everything is set up. So I just want to see, oh, there he is. And you can kind of tell because there's a few bubbles in it, in the actual blob itself. So you can kind of keep an eye on where it is as it is forming. And like I said, you're just going to do this for a couple minutes, and after you're sure that it's sort of set up, then you would take it out of here and you would put it into the plain water solution, and that will stop the process. So you'll have your final product then. But I don't want to take this out too early, because if you take it out too early and it's not set up yet, it will mess it up. Now you can also take a couple more blobs of this and put it in there at the same time and actually make a few of them while at the same time. But I tried this earlier, and when I did that, I felt like it sort of all kind of stuck together, and then when you go to take them out, it sort of made it, they sort of ripped each other apart, for lack of a better term. And I didn't like to do that. So I'm just doing one at a time, but you can do more than one if you want. You can also take a dropper and take drops of this and drop it into here. That you could do a bunch of them, I guess, because it's so small that they don't really have like the weight to rip each other apart. And that is something called spherication, which they use a lot when they are making displays in bakeries and stuff like that. If you've ever seen those tiny little, like, it looks like beads, but you can eat them. Or if you've ever seen a display where it's supposed to look like caviar, but it's part of like a cake or something, that is what you're looking at. You know what? While that one is sort of just kind of swimming around in there, I'm going to take some food dye. And, oh, I don't see this one now. Where'd he go? Oh, he's over here. Okay, so while he's just sort of swimming around in there, I'm going to take some food dye. And I'm going to dye this stuff so that you can see it easier. Let's try red. Let's try, we'll drop a red in there. And probably should have did that right from the beginning, but I didn't want to mess it up, okay? Stab it. So now what I did with the ones that I made, the color ones, was I didn't mix it all the way in, so it was kind of swirly like this. And I think they actually came out really cool looking. So after you let that sort of just swirl around like that for a couple of minutes, just rinsing this off over here. After you let that swim around in there for a couple of minutes, it'll harden. I'm not going to take it out yet, but what I am going to do is put one of the red ones in there so that you can sort of see, so you can get a kind of a better idea of what it looks like. But I am going to wait for it to stop swirling, because the last time that I did this, when I put it in there and the water was all swirling around in a circle like that, it just fell apart in there. So I'm going to wait for it to steady just a little bit. Now I also wanted to say that obviously you can eat these, and they actually do hold water on the inside of them. So it's sort of a shell, not really a shell though, you'll see what it is in a second. It's almost like a blob. And it does actually hold edible drinking water, which is why when you do this part, the 1 cup that you're mixing together, you are going to use either bottled water, or if your tap water is good, I know some people can't drink their tap water, but if you have tap water that is fine to drink, you're going to use your tap water or bottled water. This water is sort of whatever. You can just use like sink water for that. This is the water that's going to be inside the blob. That's going to be the drinkable part of it. So what I'm going to do now is, I just want to make sure, where is the other one? The other one's right there. So I'm going to take one of these red ones here, and I'm going to drop him in here. And you can see sort of when it goes in there, it's just a little blob. I want to show it to you from above so you can actually see what it looks like. It's just a little blob right there. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna swirl. Well, I'm shaking this spatula off the best I can while I'm holding this thing. But what I'm gonna do now is just sort of stir it around a little bit so you can sort of see it stays in that little blob shape. And that is the water bottle. You'll see in a minute when I take it out what I'm talking about. But there is also a regular clear one in there that I'm sure you probably can't see. It's right here, swimming. I don't know if you could see the bubbles in it. There's a few bubbles in it, so maybe you could see that, but kind of hard to see. But I'm going to show you in a couple seconds what they look like when you take them out. Oh, it's I think it was the coolest thing on the planet. Maybe I'm just like a complete nerd. But I really thought that, I think, first of all, that this is my best video. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm a science nerd and I love this stuff. And this is something that you can do yourself. And not many people have seen this. So if you do it yourself and you show somebody for the first time, they're going to be like, whoa. Also, another cool thing that you could do with these is you can, once you make them, you can toss them at each other. If the weather's nice outside, make a bunch of them and use them for water balloons. It's just the coolest thing. And it's really not that expensive. I got a 2-pack of each one of these. So 2 of these and 2 of these. 2 of the calcium lactate and 2 of the sodium alginate. So I got 100 grams of each one. And you're only using 1 gram for the one solution and 5 grams for the other solution. So you could make this solution like 20 times with the kit that I got. I'll put a link in the bottom. If you can find it somewhere else cheaper, then go for yours. But I got them from Amazon because I have Prime, so I got free shipping. And I think it was like 10, 12, something like that bucks. And like I said, you could make a ton of these things with this solution. So I'll just leave that right there. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of these out so that you could just see what I'm talking about. Oh wait, I gotta rinse this off first because it has all this stuff in it. So basically what's gonna happen is after you put it into this solution and it's in this little circle, it turns into this little sphere, you're gonna just sort of stir this every now and then to keep it moving. And you're gonna do that for like, 2 or 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever. I like to leave it a little bit longer just so that it sets. But the first thing I'm gonna do, if I can find it, I think it's right here, is take the clear one out. So I don't know if you can see this, but there's a tiny little globule in there. You see them swimming around in that water? See them in there? What you're gonna do with that is you're gonna take it and you're gonna put it into your just regular water at the end, and that is going to, oh wait, I want to know if you could see this maybe. It's kind of hard for me. You know what? Let me move this whole thing over here, make it a lot easier for everybody. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this little globule and you're gonna put it into the water. Yep. I just want to try to get the angle so that you guys can see it properly. Okay, and then you're just going to take this little fella and dunk him right in there. Now what that's going to do is that is going to set it up so that it stops the reaction that's been going on. And it's going to sort of finalize the process. Now that is where the actual water bottle part of it comes in, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Now what I also want to do is take that red one out that I put in there, and I'll put that into the solution too, so you can sort of just see that whole process from this angle. So let's get this out of her because we don't need that right now. Let me put this guy over her, and I'm just gonna scoop this guy out. Bam. And, oh, you know what? Should I leave that other guy? I'll put him right in here. Let's see what happens. Boop. So we put him in there too. He looks a little sloppy, but let's see what we got. And then what I'll do is I'll just take this stuff and I'll put maybe 1 or 2 more in here so we can make some more while we're waiting for this one to go. And I'll just show you this time, I'm actually going to put a couple of them in there. So you can see that you can make more than one at a time. I didn't like to do that the last time because I felt like some of them got stuck to each other. But if you're careful in the beginning and you make sure that they sort of stay in their own lane, then that's fine. I'm actually going to add another color to this so that we can see what it looks like. Maybe I'll make a purple one. So let me just add a drop of dye to this solution. Smush it around a little bit. It might even be easier for you guys to see, which will definitely be helpful since I'm making a video. And then I'll take some of that blue solution now and make one of them as well. And you can see when you drop it in there, it just sort of congeals into this tiny little blob. Let's put one more in just so that you can see what it looks like. Where am I going to drop this guy? How about right here? Okay, and you see it just kind of blobs away. So now, The ones that are completely done, wait, let me just rinse this off, and then I'm going to take some of the ones that are completely done out of here, and you can see how cool they are. Oh, you're going to love it. Oh no, I killed one. I had one in here that I just completely killed. Okay, that's fine. Alright, so I don't know where the clear one went, but let me see if I can get this red one out. Oh, here's the clear one. It's completely in my way. So let me just take this one out first. So you're supposed to use a slotted spoon here for this, but I don't like that because it sort of kind of just fell apart the last time that I did it. But I'm gonna show you like this. Whee! There he is. And this thing is so cool. And you can see it's sort of like a little blob. But this blob is the water bottle. And you can see it's like a membrane. And inside of it is the water that you can actually really drink. Now you could see that it is... No, it's not a perfect shape. And there's a little blob here on the end of it and stuff. And yeah, I gotta cut my nails, I know that. But I have been very busy lately with work. And this is it. This is the edible water bottle. And now I'm gonna poke it. And you could see that it's inside of it is the drinkable water, and then at the end of it is just that little skin that just fell. So let's see. Let's take a couple more out. Oh, actually, these ones should be swimming around. So let's get these ones to swim around in here a little bit. And then I'll show you what the other ones look like. The ones where I didn't mix the dye, and you can see that they have sort of like a zigzag inside of them, and they came out really cool. I'm going to just let them sort of swim around in here like this for a couple of minutes, and then you can see how those ones come out and the different ways that you can make them. And you can also see in there those tiny little dots. That's what's called spherication. That's what they use to decorate displays when they're making food and they need a little dot like that for something. But let's see. So that's them swimming around in this solution before you put them into the water, the regular clear water, to stop the process and to set it all up. And then this is the red one. The red one, to me, I don't think it came out very strong. It looked a little bit sort of messed up, and I can actually see it leaking a little bit, and that's fine. But so this one might just be a dud, because it doesn't seem to be very... Doesn't seem to me like this one's set up very well, so it might just be sort of a dud. But it is good to show you guys what it looks like. And you can see, same little blobbly. I'll poke them. Poke them so that you could see the water come out of them. See? And that is all out of, that's all drinkable water. Now let's get the rest of these guys out of here, just because I want you to see how these blue ones came out, because this is how I did the dye earlier. I didn't actually mix it in. I just sort of let it, you know, I didn't mix the dye in very well. I just sort of put it in there and then I sort of smushed it around a little bit. So I just want to show you how those ones came out, because some of them look so cool. And you could, I guess, use them for decorations if you wanted to, because they use them in the food industry to decorate all the time. And I just wanted to show you how the rest of these came out, because I think that this is just the most awesome thing on the planet. So let me see if I could just get, here's a red one. Oops, did I miss it? Yeah, I missed it. I completely missed that one. But here is the red one. And again, I'll just show you what they look like as they come out. They're these little cool blobs, and they're just the coolest thing on the planet. And you can eat them. I just drank the water out of this one. Oh, this one didn't break when I drank it. Taste it. And now I want to show you the blue one, because the blue ones I think come out, or actually not just because they're blue, but because I didn't mix the dye into the water. I just sort of let it hang out. And this one sucks. But let me show you let me show you this one. And then I want to show you some of the ones I made before, because I made them out of other colors and stuff. So I just want to show you like this. You can sort of, I don't know how great, because the lighting's not that great in here, but you can sort of see, oops, I just completely dropped that one on the floor. But let me go grab some of the other ones that I made earlier. Here's one that I made a while ago, and I let it sit in the longer you let it sit, the tougher the bottle will be. But here's one that I made before with purple water. And you could see, I mean, these things are just so cool. But I just love them, and I hope that you're going to at least try to make them after I went through all the trouble of making this video for you. Okay. Why is my thing stuck? Okay, so I'm a little crooked. But it's cool, it's fun, it's friggin' awesome for science people. Kids will love it at parties. You can actually make water balloons out of them and throw them at each other. What could be better than this? I just love it. I love science. Science wins. Okay, so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Because why not? If you love it, make sure you share it. And if you want to see more videos like this, and I mean, who wouldn't? Then please subscribe to my channel where I have amazing videos like this all the time. Maybe not all the time, but I don't want to bother you. I know you guys are busy. I put them up when I know that you have nothing to do like today. So, and thank you for watching.